Welcome to another edition of CIO Academy Asia's #Unplugged. I'm David Chin, Deputy CEO of CIO Academy Asia. In this edition, we are joined by three esteemed tech leaders to share key practitioner insights on the topic securing critical services in Indonesia. Joining us for this interview today is Pak Indra Utoyo, Managing Director, Digital Banking and IT from Bank Rakyat Indonesia. Also, we have Ibu Jeny Mustopha, Chief Information Officer, Bank BTPN, and Daryush Ashjari, Chief of Systems Engineering, McAfee Asia Pacific. My first question that I'll ask to Pak Indra Utoyo and Ibu Jeny first is this, right? What was the response that your digital teams needed to put together to navigate the pandemic? Pak Indra, go ahead.
As we know that this pandemic is becoming the chief transformation office that push us and to accelerate the digital transformation, digitalizing of the traditional market. Yeah, so people can buy and can connect the buyer and the sellers. IT really have to be improved in terms of capacity, reliability, and also the security. Yeah? Since everything done virtually, and make sure that the end-to-end environment is adequate in terms of mitigating the cyber fraud or risk to our system.
I think what Pak Indra is already sharing in our strategy in BTPN, we call that digital investment on the strategy of digital. One is a continuous improvement on the security posture. Then we need also to develop to make sure the integrated between the security and the development life cycle. I think that part needs to be, and we make sure that the DevSecOps is included on the life cycle of the development now.
Yeah.
You cannot just do it after the development, but you have to put in front to work together with the security. Then we need also to gain a deeper insight on the what we call the cyber threat. So we need to have the AI. We have to have the machine learning to make sure that we can adopt we make sure that we have the user entity behavior analytics, because digital you need to have that. Then also we need also to have the enhanced automated security incident response. So currently we've done that this year.
Thanks, Ibu Jeny. I see Pak Indra nodding your head. Looks like you are involved in a lot of the same things that Ibu Jeny has mentioned. Automation of your SOC, using of user entity business behavior analytics, in your business processes. So, Pak Indra and Ibu Jeny, Indonesia, geographically, it's many islands and rural areas, right? How do you deliver your digital services to all these customers who may not have access to bank branches, may not have access to banking services? What are some of the digital capabilities you are offering, right, to enable your customers to stay more closely in touch with you? Maybe Pak Indra, I start with you first.
Our aspiration is, of course, how we can serve as many as possible people, and to enable them to do as many as possible transactions with the lowest cost. Yeah. We have the fully digital services. Yeah, that's maybe for quite literate customer, maybe millennials. But for those who still are not quite convenient to do by themselves through digital, we have a kind of O2O model, the online to offline. So hopefully by those quite extensive range, we can serve the multiple segment. Hopefully adjust with their readiness. Maybe that's the answer.
Thank you, Pak Indra. If I were to pick up one thing from your sharing, you enable, for the same customer outcomes or the same business outcomes, you have to enable direct access from your customers right to your bank, but also have the same experience for your agent in those villages, right? So maybe Ibu Jeny, how about you, right? Same question to you.
the technology that we use currently is the same. We use agent. We use also apps for them. With our customer, we use actually money mobilizer. It's actually a simple apps technology using SAP technology. The infrastructure network was not fully covered in Indonesia. That you have to we have to cope with that. That's why we still use the money mobilizer on that.
Thank you, Ibu Jeny. So Daryush, looks like you have your work cut out for you. And the reason why I asked that question about distributed delivery of digital services, because the underlying infrastructure needs to be strong and secure, so that those services can be consumed and we don't face performance issues, security issues. So maybe I hand the time over now to you.
Sure, David, and I'm pretty sure our esteemed participants here are well aware of security implication of building a new solution. So a few years ago, a lot of organizations, particularly finance sector, because very security conscious, used to say, no, we're not embracing cloud. But these days we've seen cloud makes its way in one form or shape. So this comes in two forms, personal and enterprise level. The personal side really scares me, right? And they fall into low risk and high risk services. Are these some of these services secure by nature? They're so-called free, right? The PDF converter, it's free, but what's the intent behind it? Is it really free, and so on? So this is the problem everyone faces, because your users at least are using cloud services. And then we start to see that because of the economy of the scale, the new notion of cloud-based services out of a typical suspect. So once you combine all this together and you have your security team, also you have your DevOps team as well, where you could have a developer that uses GitHub to leverage a module in the cloud in order to achieve a function while it's building an application. It could be completely unknown to you, but that particular function has been borrowed from a digital library in the cloud. It could have malicious intent designed into it, backdoor, side door, or front door. When data comes into the front door, a developer moves the sensitive data through the side doors to different cloud architecture, and then maybe there is another data flow between a side door out of the cloud infrastructure to the back door itself. So I want to pause here, David, and get some input from our audience here. What's the solution?
What we have currently implement is the VPN full tunnel, which are combined of two-factor authentications. So including the DLP standard that we have to put. So we also put down, currently you bring your own device. We use an endpoint detection response. Yeah.
So we start from the application first. The application, there will be a anti-reverse engineering malware detection that installed in every smartphone. And then we enter into data. Data also need to be secure. Securing the data is also important. Yeah, it consists of three states: when the data at rest, data in transit, and data in use. Yeah, so that's kind of data security that we need also to adopt. So we keep improving gradually, and we also implementing kind of certification to make sure that our environment, our system is comply with the industry standard that required to deliver the service. So, and then we keep improve, and we keep adopt and the best practice, the new standard, the new technology that need to be adopted. So I think it's quite dynamic, yeah.
It is, especially when we deliver new digital services. Both Ibu Jeny and Pak Indra have spoken extensively about the shift left approach at the applications layer when they talk about DevSecOps. And your presentation has covered the infrastructure security. But how do you relate the two, right? Are there gaps? How can those gaps be addressed? Go ahead, Daryush.
In McAfee's opinion, having a comprehensive cloud protection portfolio is the key. And the reason we mention platform here is you want to set a policy in one place, and you want that policy to follow the data, regardless of cloud provider, service provider, infrastructure provider. When we talked about using DLP, using device control, using encryption, we want same sort of the policies move to the cloud. So we don't have another set of parameters and controls and policies to use. So we believe adopting a platform approach is very important, but I'll make one last comment. If the platform is proprietary, forces you to buy everything from one vendor, it will fail. This platform is open architecture. So it allows third-party tools to come in. So if you are using, let's say, a competitor to McAfee Secure Web Gateway, you can still bring that as a part of the solution. If you're using a third-party CASB technology stack, you can bring it to this platform. That's the beauty of the platform. You pick and choose native capability of the cloud, you complement it with third-party capabilities. So we believe that's the way forward, my friend.
Thanks, Daryush. I think what you did was to point out two things through things like SASE, and you added to what Ibu Jeny mentioned about automation. Just to share with everybody, in a recent survey that we did at CIO Academy, we discovered that insider threats is the number one threat that is causing a lot of heartache to organizations when they get breached. And because of insider threats, right, in which cyber attackers can use privileged credentials to traverse the network, organizations struggle to isolate cyber attacks. Indra, you have a variety of different applications. Some are on-premise, some are on cloud. How do you then architect, your security layer to do a little bit of what Daryush mentioned about single policy, right? Harmonized policy across your applications. Do you want to share about that?
So to protect from the internal threat, so we also adopt that kind of AI and machine learning, also tools that can help if something is maybe is not normal happen, and there is an abnormal happen in our environment. There is a pattern that maybe is not common. So it's also helping us to maybe a bit of create a visibility and also velocity to do the action. So we keep also improving our modeling and to make us better yet to mitigate the false positive or false negative. But also at the same time, we also have to implement the very stringent procedures regarding the internal, because we also not only organic people, but there is also partners, also in-sourcing partners that we need to really implement the right policy for them. Yeah. Maybe that's my response.
Thanks, Pak Indra. So, last comment from Ibu Jeny. Time flies when we're having fun. It's almost time for us to finish.
Yes.
But Ibu Jeny, very quick from you. I know you have to go, but very quick from you. Looking at the year ahead, right? What is going to be one big area of cybersecurity you would wish to enhance?
After looking also from the survey that we have with our employee, working from home is part of 70% was answering that they prefer to work from home actually. So we need to look at how is the digital workplace. And if we talk about digital workplace, then we talk about how we can make sure that the working digital at home or anywhere is secure enough for us, that we can guarantee in terms of their security, in terms of the protection. So if we look at this, my last word is digital and the security, you need to work together. If you want to implement a digital workplace, then you need to have a very good, prudent, secure, looking at the risks of their security that you need to implement. So that was my last word.
Thank you so much. Pak Indra and Ibu Jeny. So
Thank
just
you.
to very quickly summarize, you have feasibility, right? Velocity in your cybersecurity roadmap, And of course, overriding all of that is your cybersecurity priorities, right? With that, maybe just a very quick 30-second closing comment from Daryush, and we can finish this interview. Daryush, go ahead.
Yeah, my final comment, David, would be around ability to conduct an audit and to see what are we dealing with, what are our users are using in the cloud. So then that visibility give you more insight around some of the unknowns. So my final comment is reach out to people like McAfee. Let us do an audit for you. It is quite a quick one and normally doesn't have any cost associated with it. That gives you that visibility that are your users are acting in the cloud. Those doors that we talked about, are they being in use?
Thank you so much, Pak Indra and Ibu Jeny, for sharing your insights. We think just this interview is enough to give us, a great video. Yeah, and thanks so much, Daryush, for sharing your insights. Refreshing as always. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the session as much as I did. I gleaned many insights from our interview panel, and I'm heartened to hear that critical cybersecurity measures are integrated by design into the digital transformation initiatives in their organizations. Do check out our other #Unplugged interviews at our YouTube channel and find us as well on Facebook and LinkedIn. See you there!